So what we want to do is inside style.css we want to create a new class called border, and this is going to essentially just contain CSS that would outline a thin black border on this element. Then what we're going to do is as we hover over this, we're going to change the border of this to black, and then it will make it look a bit more like we're able to drop something. So this border class here is just going to be border 1 pixel. It's going to be solid and black. So now that we've got this class set up with a border of 1 pixel, solid and black, we can apply it into here. So I'm just going to write border. Okay, so now as we drop any element over this droppable div, the class of it will be added, the border class will be added to it. So let's go ahead and test this. When we drag over, you can see that the border changes. So now it looks more like that we can actually, it's more feasible that you could drop something into this box than if nothing changed at all. So it works as you hover out or as you come out as well. So it's only as we're hovering over this that we actually get this this border appear. Okay, so now that we've created this, we need to find a way of creating a tolerance as to when this is actually classed as hovering over and has the ability to drop inside. So at the moment we have the default tolerance set. However, what we're going to do is change this. So I'm going to create a new option, tolerance, and this is going to be equal to either fit, intersect, pointer, or touch. So the fit, let's go through the first option, or the value for this first option is fit. Now fit means that the draggable, which is this here, has to completely be inside of this div here. So as at the moment you can see that if I was to drag it from here, as my cursor reaches the first part of this element, or sorry, the middle of this draggable object reaches the first part of this element, that's overlapped by at least 50%, and that's the intersect option. So that's the default option. So at the moment 50%, and it looks droppable. So fit will mean, if we refresh, that we notice now that we have to have the whole of the element inside of this to be able to drop it. So it works, I guess, a bit better, you could say, a bit more sort of like naturally. As we fit the whole of the element inside, that then means that we're able to drop it inside. So that's the fit. As I said before, intersect is the default. It will work exactly the same way. So at least 50% of it inside means that it's droppable. Let's look at the next option, which is pointer, and this is when the mouse pointer itself overlaps the droppable. So if I grab this element from the very end and force that in, as soon as my mouse pointer enters this div, that means that it is droppable. So I could do it from the front, or there, take it there and drop it just in like that. So that's the pointer value for this tolerance option. We've also got touch, which is when the element that you are dragging touches it by any amount whatsoever. So this is somewhat of a, you could regard it as somewhat of an illogical choice to make. However, you want to create something that feels natural to both yourself and your user, and that you think will be beneficial when you're dragging and dropping objects. So that is the tolerance. Personally, I prefer the pointer because the user generally tends to look at their pointer as their point of dropping something in. And for me, it just feels a lot more natural when as soon as your pointer's inside somewhere, that means that you can drop it. So for now, we'll leave this tolerance as pointer. Okay, so the last thing we want to go ahead and look at is the accept option. And we're going to have to change a few things around for this. Now, accept looks like this. It's just the option name is accept, and we can provide a particular group of objects by class that we want to allow to be dropped into here. So for example, let's go ahead and change this span from drag me and let's create a few more names. But first of all, I'm going to give this a class of name, and I'm going to copy this and paste that down, and I'm going to enter, say, Alex in there and Billy in there. Just put a slash after that. And then the last one, I'm going to give a class of place, and I am going to write London. So now we have something that looks like this. At the moment, nothing is dragging at all because we haven't picked up on this in UI.js here. However, we're going to be changing that around in just a moment. So this is our drop area. It's remained the same. However, what we want is only specific elements based on the class, so name or place, to be allowed to drop inside here. Now you might be wondering why we do this. Now let's just say you had particular elements you wanted in particular boxes. For example, you might have another div next to this one,